glucose tolerance test. A1C is not the best test to determine if you're likely to be a diabetic or pre-diabetic. The A1C only gives you a window picture of the last 90 days. The glucose tolerance test is different. You go to the doctor's office, they test your glucose levels. Then they give you 75 grams of glucose to drink. Then they see how high your insulin and glucose levels go. And then they see over the next 2.5 hours how they come down. If they come down back to normal again within that 2.5 hours, that means your pancreas is working. That means the insulin receptors on your cells are working. If it doesn't come down to normal in that 2.5 hours, you got a problem somewhere. You got a pancreas that's not working efficiently, or you have insulin cells on your receptors that aren't working efficiently. Let me just tell you about insulin receptors on the cells, because we tell every person that's overweight, every person that's diabetic, this is why exercise is so important. When you don't exercise, the insulin receptors on your cell lay down and go to sleep. Now, if you have insulin receptors that are sleeping, can the glucose come and get into your cell? No, because remember, glucose and insulin have to go together. And so the insulin receptors, the ones that determine if glucose gets into the cell or not. So if your insulin receptors are sleeping, there's no glucose going into that cell. But once you exercise, half hour, 45 minutes every day, guess what happens? Those insulin receptors stand up, they multiply, and they become more sensitive. Now the insulin and glucose go into the cell, bingo, you're clear. So one of the things that we do with people who come back with a very poor test on this glucose tolerance test, we not only put them on a vegetarian diet or a nearly vegetarian diet, we make sure they exercise a half hour, 45 minutes every day. And guess what? In a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, no problem anymore. It's that quick. If we catch it soon enough, it's that quick. And if everybody from childhood up had this glucose tolerance test and did the right things after they got a negative report back, we could wipe out type 2 diabetes in the next 20 years. That would save the country from all this big financial cost that we're going to be up against. This is why these tests are so important. This is what functional medicine is. It's about early detection, and it's about treatment with food and natural substances. That's what this is all about.